Hey, what's up mortals? Welcome back to my channel. Today where I bring you a special what if. What if Issei was the reincarnation of Satoru Gojo? Yeah, I know. It's a crazy active story that I was actually thinking of. But I hope you guys actually enjoyed this actually what if I can tell you. If you guys like my content, please share this with your friends and family. And without further ado, let's start the story. Kuyu Town. The place of actually where anybody can actually go. The town was actually great. Everybody there was super nice, but mysterious too. But we won't focus on that now. We go to a hospital, where actually Mrs. Hiro was given birth. The actually process of actually her giving birth to her first child was actually painful. She'd never actually done this before. Mr. Hiro was standing outside the room, worrying. He was actually getting calls from his friends if actually his wife was actually okay. He was saying that he doesn't even know. Well, what will happen? What will happen to her? What will happen actually to his newborn actually son or daughter? He doesn't even know. The doctor will actually tell him to come inside. There, Hiro will actually walk into the room and he will see his wife, holding actually over a baby. The baby seems kinda strange, of course. He had white hair. What was this? The doctor actually did find it strange. A baby with white hair? Well, they never actually thought of that. Mr. Hyodo actually looked at his wife. Mrs. Hyodo shrugged. She didn't cheat. She knows she didn't. Mr. Hyodo knows that, but still, it was weird. The baby had white hair. The doctor ran some tests, and heck, 100% he was actually their son. Mr. Hyodo actually took a sigh of relief. Wow, he actually thought he would actually lose the love of his life. But of course, it didn't really actually mind if that actually child had actually white hair. He was actually their son, and that was actually a great thing. They named him actually Issei. And from the time that actually Issei was born, he was quite talented. Really talented. He was able to actually do a whole lot of things. Walk at the age of actually like 1 year old. He was able to actually draw, do a whole lot of things. Issei was pretty much of a prodigy. And Issei was actually aware of this. He would actually knows all. Everything he sees was like a movie. He can sense the spiritual energy, magical energy around him. It was like awesome. Issei did tell his actually parents this, but they didn't believe him. He just thought that he was actually in his own little fantasy world. When Issei became the age of actually 8 years old, that's when things actually changed. He met actually Irina, a girl pretty much actually she was actually of a Catholic or like whatever Issei might have thought of her. She was actually really pretty, and plus she was so energetic. Issei and actually Irina spent time together, going out, playing, going to church. And Issei actually did enjoy her company. But everything changed when actually she was actually moving abroad. Of course, the two of them made a promise that they were actually coming back to see each other again. Once Issei actually returned home for actually bidding Irina farewell, he will be welcomed with a terrible surprise. The lights were off. Issei can smell something. It was something rotten. Something foul. Something smells like metal. Issei walked further into the house and he actually stepped on actually a puddle of water. It didn't seem right to him. Issei actually walked into his house deeper and deeper. And the more the smell actually became more vile. Issei couldn't take it and he basically just vomited. But Issei knows something's up. He sensed something. Something dangerous. It wasn't high like his own. Issei knows that actually his spiritual powers are on a whole completely different level. As Issei furtherly walked into the living room, he saw a horrifying sight. His parents, dead on the ground, blood leaking everywhere. Who did this? Issei said in complete shock. Issei heard after a loud after grunt. Ah, so you're actually that kid, huh? A mysterious person will say. In a corner of the room, a figure will be sitting in a chair, rocking back and forth. Issei never left his eyes off their parents. The guy would stand up and he'd walk towards the kid. I can't have no witnesses, of course. I'm just doing my job as actually just for my master. Master? He said now, like, we have to finally speak, looking at actually the man. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to kill you. Sorry, I don't want this. And before anything can even happen, or before he can even actually touch Issei, he was immediately blown away. What was that? What did you do, you little shit? The man would say. Issei would just stand there, completely eyes cold, blue, rage, of course. Issei will go and attack the man. The man will try to get up and attack Issei, but Issei saw his move. He was way too slow. Issei will grab him by actually the face, have him in a headlock. He will start choking the life out of him. The guy will actually try to grab Issei, but his hands didn't touch him. It will stop in mid-air. What was going on? Issei's anger started to fill with him, started to choke the life out of him. Man tried everything to escape. Issei's actually right arm started to glow a green color. Of a red gauntlet would appear on his hands. That's the red dragon! Before he can finish, Issei snapped his neck, completely leaving him dead. Issei would get off the man. After about like 30 minutes, he was still continuing to choke him. Issei would get off and start huffing and puffing. He would look at his hands. I killed him. He should actually be afraid, or even be shocked. It needed to be done, a mysterious voice would say. Issei would look around his house. Who said that? On your right arm, the voice would say. Issei will look on his right arm. Wait, why is my hand turned into a gauntlet? Let me introduce myself. My name is Dreg, the Red Dragon Emperor of Domination. The active voice would say. The Red Dragon Emperor of what now? Issei was so confused. First of all, I should give this to you proper. I'm not like anything that you will see. I'm a living dragon. And I'm so sorry for your parents' death. He said now look at his parents. A tear will slip down his face. Anger will fill him, of course. The whole room will start levitating. It was pretty much Issei was unaware of what he was doing. Drag would tell Issei to calm down. His host was strange. He felt infinite amount of power coming from him. There was more within him. So, Drag would tell Issei that probably be better for them to have to clear up this mess, or pretty much to call for help. Issei will call the police, and the police will go and take Issei into custody. They will ask him questions, but Issei didn't answer them. Dreg told him not to answer the police. The police would let Issei go, but they couldn't leave him on his own. He was a kid. Where would he go? Issei would be put in an orphanage. Issei thought that the orphanage would treat him badly. But how wrong was he? The orphanage was great. The people there liked him. They thought Issei was a cool guy. Some of the girls even thought Issei was kinda cute. With his blue eyes, white hair, it was just so awesome. Issei was getting so much attention. It took a while for Issei to get over his parents' death. But he would eventually move on. He would form new bonds. That's what his parents wanted him to do. Form bonds with people. It got to the point where Issei was continuing on his school life. He would meet tons of people who would be just excelling all in sports, academics of course. He was truly a prodigy. Everybody can tell that. No matter what they did or even challenged Issei, Issei was just far too ahead of them. And plus, every time Issei got himself into a fight, the boys or the enemies, they couldn't touch him. It seemed like they were touching him, but Issei was just using just infinity. Putting layers of walls to slow them down. Issei had trouble using his ability, but with the help of Drag, he did got decent control over it. But of course, he needed more training. Issei will visit Shinto, of course, which was a great thing. somebody there was actually going to help Issei. As Issei was walking around at Kyoto, he actually saw a little girl. She was lost. She was asking actually for help. Issei will walk up to the girl, and he can tell that she's not actually human. Issei can see that because he can actually sense actually her high spiritual powers. Issei will actually ask the girl if she was lost. The girl had actually this yellow hair, wearing a white yukata. "I can't find my mother anywhere," the girl would say. "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." Issei would close his eyes and he would actually track the same similar actually spiritual power that he sensed from the girl. And eventually he would find actually her. Issei will actually grab the girl's actually hand, and there they will actually teleport out of actually the people's sight. There they will appear into actually one shrine. And the guards who were actually standing actually posed in that position outside, they were surprised. This person just appeared out of nowhere. And wait, that was actually the princess of actually the Nine-Tailed actually fox, of course. Kurumi, the one of the gods would say. As pretty much the gods will actually take Kurumi to actually her mother, Yasuka. Yasuka was really sick. Her daughter never returned, of course. She said she was actually going to actually visit actually around Kyoto, but it's been around 3 hours. All of a sudden, she heard actually a knock on the door. They opened it, and there they would see 2 gods, with actually Kurumi, and with a strange young boy. And Yasuka can sense the high spiritual powers he actually has. There, Yasuka will run up and actually hug actually her daughter. And she will actually ask if she was okay. She actually says yes, that this boy helped her, teleported actually her from actually the public eye to actually this shrine. Of course, Yasuka now eyes was actually on Issei. There she will actually thank Issei, and ask him who truly really was he. Issei will introduce himself as he was this current actually Red Dragon Emperor generation. Yasuka and the gods were truly actually surprised. He was the Red Dragon Emperor? Wait, if the Red Dragon Emperor was he here to cause trouble? No, Issei said he was just actually going to actually look around Kyoto, of course. He actually just lives in the orphanage, of course, so, and he just wanted to take a trip. Issei does have himself a job, and it was actually not really of a high paying job, but it was a good job for him to actually keep himself busy. Yasuka would actually bow down on her knees, and she would actually properly thank Issei. Of course, she actually would ask about Issei's actually power, that he has a high spiritual pressure that she can sense. Issei says yes, he's actually learning how to control his actually powers. With Dreg's help, it's actually good, but he needs someone else who's actually talented in actually Senjutsu or actually kind of like curse energy, of course. Yasuka will offer to actually train Issei. Issei can sense that she actually has no actually malice or no evil intention, so of course he will actually accept. And from then on, Yasuka will actually start training Issei. And Issei was truly much of a prodigy. Like I said, Issei was so skilled, of course, in everything Yasuka taught him. Senjutsu, how to actually utilize it, how to actually sense people's actually energy, of course. Issei was talented. Of course, actually Kurumi would actually join in the training sometimes, but she couldn't keep up with Issei. He was just too skilled. And once it came to his actually infinity, or limitless power, that's what Issei would call it, there was no way they could even touch him. It was like them actually trying to actually reach for nothing. As closer they get, the more farther away it actually goes. They couldn't actually touch him. Issei did actually explain that he can put up layers of actually limitless powers, of course, that actually seems like they were actually stopping in midair, but truth be told, they're actually slowing down. This really surprised Yasuka. She even actually contacted Atsunamatsu, of course, about this. This boy actually needs a high level training. Atsunamatsu, the goddess of actually Shinto, the sun goddess, would actually hear all about what Yasuka was actually telling her about this boy, the Red Dragon Emperor. This would actually interest Atsunamatsu, and there she would actually go to her place, her faction. There, Issei would be going to Kyoto, and he would actually teleport to Yasuka's shrine. There, he would actually meet Kurumi, but you see at a familiar, like not familiar, but an unknown face that actually he would never see. He would see a girl with black hair wearing yukata and has a katana on her side. She was truly beautiful if you can see that. And Issei asks Yasuka who was she. Atamatsu introduced herself, as she is actually the goddess of actually the sun, of course, in Shinto. Issei will go on his knees actually to show respect. So he was actually the Red Dragon Emperor, Atamatsu would say. I actually heard how talented you really are. Even Yasuka actually asked me to help him with your training. Issei was surprised. He's gonna get training from a goddess by chance. But guys, I'm gonna be actually leaving actually the what if actually here. If you guys actually like my content, please actually share and like this video to a friend or family. And with this, I'll be actually out. Peace.
目を閉じて思い出す過ぎ去りし